This is a study on MSU Texas retention rates by Ashlyn Darby, Emily Shaver, Kiva Abston, Taylor Dinkins, and Taylor Lindsay. Starting off with some background information, the retention rate is the percentage of students who return to a college for their sophomore year. The retention rate for MSU last year was 67% for full-time students and 67% for part-time students. With only 70% of students staying to become sophomores, Western State compared to Tarleton State with a 71% retention rate, both being below the national average at 72%. According to the National Center for Educational Statistics, the decision to leave college is also frequently economically deleterious to the college dropout, whose decision to leave often leaves him or her in a position to earn much less over a lifetime of work. Some of the research questions we asked were, what are the demographics of students who are likely to not complete their degree at MSU? What are the main reasons for freshmen and sophomores dropping out of MSU? To what extent do professors influence students' completion of a four-year degree at MSU? To what extent do friendships influence students' completion of a four-year degree at MSU? How do MSU students finance their education at the university? And what student service programs are most needed to help students complete their degree at MSU?
So next we'll move on to the literature review, where we pulled 6 quotes from about 4 or 5 articles that best supported our research. These included universities that spent more time on recruiting students instead of retaining students. It also states in one of the quotes that the institution commitment to student welfare influences student commitment to a university, where nowadays universities have begun to go about retaining students a different way. Instead of assuming that students are lazy or that they lack skills, universities now focus on understanding students' backgrounds and experiences. The 5 hypotheses that we found through ANOVA were that there is a difference in the mean of your MSU college and your composite SAT score. The next is there's a difference in the mean of cumulative GPA and work status. Our third one was that there was no difference in the mean of the experience of being homesick since attending MSU and your gender. And there is a difference in the mean of professors' attitudes and the completion of a 4-year degree at MSU. And lastly, there's a difference in the mean of the satisfaction with MSU being a college town and your ethnicity. With the regression, we determined that the amount of credit hours completed is positively associated with how many academic events that a student attended during a given semester. And the age of a student is positively associated with the amount of prospective students that they have talked to. Where on the other hand, students' SAT scores are not positively associated with MSU's unchallenging classes. How many MSU academic and non-academic organizations that a student is part of is positively related to how satisfied with the overall social life is at MSU. And then lastly, the cumulative GPA is not negatively associated with the experience of getting homesick. So with our qualitative method, our goal was to find specific reasons that students are not satisfied at MSU financially and academically. We called 50 former MSU students, and 15 agreed to participate in the interview. Out of the 15 interviewees, 9 were male and 6 are female. 10 were freshmen and 5 were sophomores. The graph on the left shows the relation between tuition and fees for non-residents and in-state students. The bar graph on the right shows that Midwestern's retention rate is a little below the nationwide retention rate and a little higher than Texas's overall retention rate. The graph at the bottom shows the percentages of scholarships, federal grants, and state grants that are awarded to freshmen at Midwestern State University.
The first method that we used for our research was a 75-question online survey. We had about 750 participants. The Likert scale used to evaluate cumulative GPA, homesickness, and MSU college town satisfaction. The people who were interviewed were students who were no longer attending MSU. When observing our statistics from our research, we found that work status versus cumulative GPA was very important. 49.3% of students worked more than 20 hours, 45.7% worked less than 20 hours, and then 5% did not work at all. We also found that college town satisfaction versus ethnic background was very important. 6.8% of white students, 10.3% of Hispanic or Latino, 10.2% of African Americans, 24.6% of Asians, Native American percentage was 34.2%, and 13.9% was other. Completion of a four-year degree versus professors' attitudes. Completion of the four-year degree was at 26%. Professors' attitudes was at a whopping 74%. Other key statistics that we noticed were the amount of credit hours a student had versus the events that they attended on campus. About 64% of students had academic events that they attended, and 15.3% had high credit hours. Age versus the prospective students that will attend MSU is also a very important statistics. 51.7% of prospective students are listed, and 48.3% of students' age matters when attending MSU.
These are the findings from our ANOVA tests. So the mean between groups and the composite SAT score is 270,049.294. With the composite SAT score and the mean within groups, it's 82,227,905, and the significance is 0.007. The cumulative GPA and the mean between groups is 16.306, and the mean within groups is 9.401. The significance is 0.177. Experience being homesick, and the mean between groups is 33.211. The mean within groups is 1.763, and the significance is 0.000016. So the next one, the mean between groups is 33.952. The mean within groups is 0.752, and the significance is 0.000. Satisfied with MSU being a college town, and the mean between groups is 28.935. The mean within groups is 1.426, and the significance is 0.000008.
Okay, so for our regression methodology, we're comparing standard error to the significance, and we're comparing those two factors with the completed credit hours, age, mean of question 48 and 49, a cumulative GPA, and organizational involvement. So for the completed credit hours, the standard error is 0.33 and the significance is 0. Age, it's 0.775 and the significance is 0.003. For the mean of question 48 and 49, the standard error is 59.981 and the significance is 0. A cumulative GPA is 0.073 and the significance is 0. Organizational involvement is 0.054 is the standard error and the significance is 0. For results, findings, and outcomes, we found that student GPAs were influenced by the hours worked outside of school. We also found that the amount of credit hours completed within the university is associated with how many events were attended by that student. The results show that a professor's attitude influenced student success in the completion of a four-year degree. Fourthly, we found that the older a student is, respectively, correlates with the more well-rounded perspective. Lastly, we found students' ethnicity impacts their satisfaction with Midwestern State University.
After observing the research, one thing stood out the most compared to the rest. Students need financial help in some way. Due to the students not having the funds to pay for college, they have to work outside of class. This contributes to time management issues because they're having to work up to 40 hours a week to make ends meet with school and just trying to live in a college town.
The literature reviews are all about the students' state of minds and ways to keep them involved. When the students interviewed said that their finances were the main reason for dropping out of the university.
Freshmen and sophomores who struggle with financial aid are likely to not complete their degree at MSU Texas. These are underclassmen and have not fully developed time management skills. If they are having to work to support themselves, this will be extremely stressful and challenge their ability to finish their degree. The main reason for freshmen and sophomores dropping out of MSU Texas is once again lack of financial aid assistance. Students need help financially. There need to be better opportunities for them, and they need to be made aware of these opportunities currently available for them. Professors' attitudes towards students influence students' completion of a four-year degree at MSU. Professors need to support students. Now they see the students more than their own parents do, so they need to be a support system as well as teachers. A higher student involvement is a key attribute to the completion of a four-year degree at MSU. So, without higher student involvement, students are more likely to drop out. They are less likely to make as many friends, and so they need that involvement. MSU students finance their education through financial aid, loans, and parental assistance. So, financial aid programs will be super helpful for those students. And lastly, financial support programs are most needed once again to help students complete their four-year degree at Midwestern State University.